Tonight at 5, the case surrounding the Delphi murders of two teens, Abby Williams and Libby German, is now back in an Indiana courtroom.
However, the three hearings today mostly focused on the man accused of their deaths and the lawyers representing him. That includes more charges filed against Richard Allen. He now faces 2 additional murder charges in their deaths.
However, the prosecutor dropped his request for kidnapping charges against Allen, who now is scheduled to go on trial in just 8 weeks from now. Our 13 Investigate senior reporter Bob Siegel's been in the courtroom in Allen County in northeastern Indiana for all of those hearings all day.
And he joins us live from Fort Wayne, where Allen's attorneys are defending themselves against allegations of contempt. Bob, please fill us in.
Well, what a strange day, an unusual day here at the Allen County Courthouse. It was actually the defense attorneys, Andrew Baldwin and Brad Rosie, who were on trial, essentially having to explain to a judge why they should not be held in contempt for allegedly violating court orders. Carroll County Prosecutor Nick McLeland asked for the charges, accusing the attorneys of violating a gag order imposed by the judge and leaking crime scene photos and information about the case. He presented evidence from investigators that traced a leak of evidence to the office of Andrew Baldwin. But the attorney representing Baldwin and Rosie said there was absolutely nothing willful and intentional about any of the leaks. And he said, according to the law, without willful and intentional disobedience beyond a reasonable doubt, there can be no finding of contempt. Today's hearing was, for lack of a better word, ugly. The prosecutor did not present strong evidence to support his allegations. The defense team called witnesses that seemingly had little relevance to the proceedings, and the judge repeatedly snapped at the defense team and seemed to lose patience with their line of questioning.
In the Carroll Circuit Court.
So right now the judge is giving the defense team an extra week to file their really final arguments, and then the prosecutor will have a week after that. So as far as a decision on the contempt, we won't get that probably until sometime next month. What we did get today was an extra hearing that we were not expecting. That hearing is whether to dismiss charges against Richard Allen. The defense team says the charges should be dismissed because they claim that the state has really been withholding, hiding information that could be helpful to Richard Allen. We weren't expecting that hearing. It got added in here middle of the afternoon. My colleague Emily Longnecker is in that hearing. It's still going on right now. We hope to have more information on what is decided on that coming up at 6. Live. Okay. In Fort Wayne, I'm Bob Siegel, 13 News.
Thanks, Bob. We'll look forward to that report at 6. In the meantime, you mentioned that Richard Allen was there today in court in Allen County. How was he?
Yeah, we have not actually seen Richard Allen for 9 months. Today was the first day we had seen him. And I'll tell you, he looked much better than the last time that we saw him in court. The last time we saw him in court, he looked really pretty dazed and out of it. Today he was actually engaged in the proceedings, at least at the beginning. I think as it wore on, I think everyone got a little bit tired as things dragged on, and Richard Allen did too, but he seemed to be in better health. He seemed to be more aware of what was going on around him. At one point I saw him look at his wife, and it's the first time since he's been charged that I saw him smile in court. So he was definitely different demeanor today. Of course, the victims' families were in court as well. Everyone was admonished by the judge not to say anything. At one point, she snapped, "Hey, be quiet," as soon as she walked into the courtroom. So we're not really allowed to talk to any of those folks because of the gag order in place. We'll, again, have more for you coming up at 6 as we wait to find out the latest ruling here from the judge on whether all these charges against Richard Allen should be dropped.
All right, Bob reporting live. We'll look forward to your report also with Emily Longnecker as our news continues tonight through Nightly News at 6:30. Thank you.
And we're also breaking down today's hearings with our 13 News legal analyst, Katie Jackson Lindsay.
So Katie says the amended charges in this case are significant because it essentially opens up a whole new path forward for the prosecutor. Here's what she says.
The state does not have to prove that Richard Allen himself is the killer here. If they can prove that he was involved in or committed a felony that resulted in their death, then in that case, he can still be found guilty of murder.
Also, a procedural ruling today that will impact the logistics. A judge ruling that all future hearings will now be held in Carroll County instead of in Allen County in Fort Wayne, where the special judge presiding over the case is based out of.
Katie Jackson Lindsay will talk about why she believes the judge made that ruling coming up tonight at 6.